thing just cracks me up because he looks like a reincarnation of Hoyer. I mean, like, that this is a guy that's a serviceable NFL quarterback, probably lower half. Like some years he'd be 25 and some years he might be 15. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But like really him going out there believing in him, I think it's a lot about Trevor Lawrence coming out next year. Although I do know Bill Belichick wants to win. That being said, going back to the win losses, he's 68 years old. And let's be honest, bro.
Right.
Does he look like a healthy person? Like he looks like a dude that's sitting in his office on the couch eating cheesy poofs. His mind is always going. He's under stress all the time. I mean, this guy epitomizes work ethic. And man, dude, like 5, 6, 7 more years. Like honestly,
that's what you're gonna need because you gotta think. Chris, what 55 is what you said?
Yep.
So 55, he's got to have 10 or better just to be in the 5-year mark at 68 years old, dude. I mean, look, I don't think it's that he can't do it. I just think it's a lot to ask of somebody because, Chris, you made a great point. He doesn't look like he's the healthiest guy. It doesn't look like he's having fun out there. And honestly, I know this is going to sound cliche-ish, but don't you think that longevity comes with having fun? The more fun you're having, the more that you enjoy it, the longer you're going to be able to do it. So if you're this guy, you know what I mean? I just don't see him now we've seen guys in their day that have played that have coached into their 70s, mid 70s. I've seen it. But I just don't know if he's that guy. I think he'll get close to George Halas, but I think he's going to end up staying right where he is.
Well, and I think the other thing, too, about humanizing Bill Belichick for me, it was cool to see the dog. You know what I mean? Because, like, we think of Bill Belichick as a robot, which he kind of is when he's in front of the media, which is fine. I don't have a problem with Bill Belichick because I love greatness. But what I will say, his own freaking dog's afraid of him. His dog was afraid to freaking move out of the chair because Billy said, "You're sitting there. We're doing this." He staged the whole thing, and that dog was just freaking terrified.
That's hilarious.
And I think, you got to look at, will the NFL get a full regular season schedule with all this madness going on, this pandemic? We talked about that last week about even playing the, getting 16 games in, 17 game with the bye week included there. So, I mean, that's another kind of a situation right now. We won't know until, August, training camps, how all that's going to work out. And then, how many players can report teams? Will there be restrictions by the CDC or the WHO organization? I mean, it's a lot up in the air now, as much as we want sports to return. I mean, we're hoping the NFL starts on time. And if they do, we can at least get 10, 12 games out of the season.
Yeah, again, from what I've heard, maybe 12 to 14. But look, yesterday, we reported that they're going to come out, and I think Saturday or Sunday, they're going to release the 17-week schedule. And look, I applaud them for thinking that that's going to happen. Yeah. But from what I'm hearing, they're not going to be – I just don't see how they're going to be able to do it because they're already behind by about 3 weeks as it is. There's no OTAs. Guys aren't working out. Facilities aren't open. You can't just say, hey, we're going to skip all of that stuff and we're just going to get to preseason. It's not going to happen. They're still going to need time to work out, learn the playbook, have OTAs, have training camp. It's going to have to – they're not going to sell that part short, which means you're going to lose games because you're already behind the 8 ball. And if we wait another, say, month, now they're going to be at 6 or 7 weeks behind the 8 ball. 12 or 14 games or 12 to 14 weeks with a bye, I can maybe see that. I just don't see how we're going to get 17 weeks in.
Here's where you guys and me, we take a different path. I'm 100% convinced that there's going to be a 16-game NFL season, and here's why. They sent me a bill for my season tickets. A little addendum on there that said, hey, Chris, we may have to cancel games, but you know what we're going to do? We're still charging you full boat, bro. But guess what? That money will go to your 2021 tickets.
Right.
So they're going to do whatever it takes to get this season in. Yes, they're going to have to refund me for the preseason game. I wish they'd get rid of all of them and not make me pay for any because it's BS. But here's the other thing. The SEC set the tone for this. There will be football in the SEC. That is happening. They're going full bore, whether they have fans in the seats or not. Those kids are going to be back on campus. So maybe these stadiums in college are going to be full of just students, which they're already there anyway, which will make for a giant home field advantage, number one. But number two, the NFL is not going to let the SEC play them because the SEC is going to start before the NFL.
Right.
So this is going to be the SEC really for me. I knew the NFL was going to get this season in, but the SEC set the tone for all of college football and all of football this year.
Right. Well, you know, they're going to have to bring the kids back. They have to bring them back on campus or else they can't expect the kids to come back to play. It's just that easy. It's
that's the safest place.
Not going to happen without the other. What?
That's the safest place for those kids, honestly.
Yeah.
That's been proven out. There's stats on that. I mean, those kids should just stay on campus until they're done with college. Maybe not come home and infect grandpa, but my kids can come back. You know what I mean? But there's so many studies out there right now, and I think that's the one thing that we can all agree on, that those college kids, man, they're safe on campus as long as they're smart outside of campus. But within that campus bubble, they're fine.
Yeah, $4 billion. The NCAA is not going to lose $4 billion on football by not having a season. Those kids go ahead.
I want to ask you guys one thing, because I was really thinking this out because I love college football. It's my number one. So I think the SEC and the Big 12 are good to go. We're not sure about the Big 10. Here's my issue, or my fear, I guess. The Pac-12 looks like they're really liberal schools. Let's be honest. If we're talking political leaning, those are liberal schools in the Pac-12.
Right.
Do you see a chance where the SEC, maybe the Big 12, and we'll spatter some in? Because like the Big 10, as far as politically, you got both. You got both in it, which makes it interesting. Do you see it where the Pac-12, maybe everybody plays college football, maybe the Pac-12 sits it out this year?
I don't think anybody's going to sit out, Brandon.
I don't think anybody's going to say. I think if it's safe to play, and I think Chris made a good point, if it's safe to bring the kids back, it's safe to play football. And I think that's the bottom line, is they're safe on campus. And, you know, you see this now. We're going to talk about this later, but ESPN now televising games with KBO's baseball. Well, it gives us something to watch. And bottom line is people are going to tune in, you know, to hell with the ratings. We want to get our minds off this pandemic, and people are tired of watching the news, and they're sick of all the new studies that come out and this, and how fast are we going to get a vaccine. I think, you know, we went through 9/11. Sports was a huge, huge, huge pedestal for us to recover in 9/11. You know, the 2001 World Series with the Diamondbacks and the Yankees. I know this is different, and we were talking about, you know, more deaths and stuff like that, and this is a health related thing, a virus. But any sport that returns, if it's safe enough for those kids to be on campus, it's safe enough to play football. And like you said, $4 billion is nothing for them to lose, because the bottom line is, you know, you may not be able to fill stadiums at 40, 50, 60,000 fans, but you can fill stadiums at 10, 15,000, spread everybody out. And people have tickets to walk in. They may not sit in their assigned seats, but they're there. And I think as long as it's safe to play, we're going to play football this fall, starting with high school, college, and the NFL. Yeah,
don't get it twisted, Chris. You're talking about the Pac-12, right? So you're talking about Oregon, Cal, Utah, USC. No, man, there's no way.
You forgot CU, man. Come on, that goes first.
Not at 3 and 6, they don't go first, my friend. Not at 3 and 6.
First in my heart, bro.
I know they are. I know how much you love your Buffs, but these are areas, dude, that there's no way on God's green earth that they're going to sit it out. Especially
I could see Stanford sitting out. I could see Berkeley sitting out. I could even see UCLA having an issue. Washington and even Oregon, dude. Like, I know this show is not political. This show is all about
Nike.
Sport.
Come on, stop.
Yes, the home of Nike. Because guess what? Guess who can survive a pandemic?
Oh yeah, Oregon. Nike. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if we're looking at political leanings, because that's kind of the way the pandemic is kind of split. Like the West Coast, bro. My daughter literally moved back from LA. She got here on Saturday.
Right.
Because she said it's freaking crazy. So I could see it, dude. I can see it. Even Boulder, man. God bless them.
I just don't see them wanting or not wanting, but being
the money's an
comfortable
issue. You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
The money, and saying, hey, you know what? We're going to forego this and, lose hundreds of millions of dollars by sitting it out. It's just, if everybody else is going to figure it out, I don't see anybody sitting out. There's going to be a formula. One school is going to figure it out, or the NCAA is going to say, hey, this is the formula. This is what everybody will stick to, and we'll just do it that way. This way, everybody's involved. Everybody's culpable. You know what I mean? And nobody will lose out on any kind of revenue, because at the end of the day, that's going to be the biggest thing, is the revenue. So, all right, y'all. Keep it locked. We're going to take a quick break, pay some bills, and when we get back, Odell Beckham says that he's going to have the best year of his career. Okay, dude, whatever you say. Marshawn Lynch also talking about coming back. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Keep it locked, y'all. Sports Guy Mike Show.
Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is a licensed and accredited OBH treatment facility providing people services in the criminal justice system for over 6 years. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is located on 1826 East Platte, on the corner of Platte and Union, where the counselors are not only licensed and accredited, but also have life experience. They offer court-ordered DUI classes and any mandated court-ordered treatment. Use the promo code RADIO and pay only $20 for your initial intake fee for level 2. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling, where we help you feel better so you can get better and live a successful life.
Are you a first-time home buyer having trouble finding the right realtor that fits your needs? Well, look no further. Call Brandy Mendones with Keller Williams Clients Choice Realty at 719-291-4678. Take a journey into real estate with a top-notch company and a top-notch hands-on realtor that has your real estate success in mind.
I've been in the Colorado Springs area for 14 years, and I love experiencing everything the beautiful state of Colorado has to offer. I've raised my children here and would love to help you find your next home in Southern Colorado.
Call Brandy at 719-291-4678 with Keller Williams Clients Choice Realty, where
home and happiness happen.
Having car problems? Maintenance coming up on your vehicle? Don't gamble your money away at other mechanic shops. Come to All Service Auto. At All Service Auto, you get the quality workmanship and parts that you demand. The professionals at All Service Auto strive to make your experience the best you've ever had, from beginning to end. Everything from engine replacements to tire rotations. All Service Auto can get your vehicle back on the road and driving like you want it. No job is too big or too small. All Service Auto works on all makes and models, making them your one-stop mechanic shop with affordable prices and customer service that is leaps and bounds above the rest. Make your first choice All Service Auto, located at 3455 Shelton Loop, right near the intersection of Platte and Shelton. Call to set up your next appointment at 719-573-0292. Taking care of vehicles and the people who drive them. All Service Auto. Call now, 719-573-0292. All Service Auto.
due to recent events with COVID-19, Liberty Tax now can do your tax return remotely. Give them a call at 866-871-1040 or visit them online at libertytax.com. Type in your zip code to find your nearest Liberty Tax office today. That's 866-871-1040. Liberty Tax, where you do life, they do taxes.
When you bring your taxes to Liberty Tax, we'll handle it. No matter what you throw at us, no matter what you need, no matter what. And we're so confident we'll do a great job. You'll want to bring us your friends, your family, your loved ones, your neighbors, your co-workers. You may even want to bring us everyone in the world. But please don't. We're not staffed for that. Liberty Tax. Bring it. We'll handle it.
Hey, Bill, sorry to hear about your car accident. How are you doing?
Not good, Mary. My neck is killing me.
Have you found an attorney for your claim yet?
You know, I went to one of those guys that you see on TV all the time, and they said my claim was too small.
You need to call McDowell Law Firm. No claim is too big or too small. They specialize in criminal defense, DUI defense, and of course, personal injury.
I need that number.
You can call them at 719-227-0022. That's McDowell Law Firm at 719-227-0022 or online at McDowellFirm.com.
Thanks, Mary. I'm going to call him right now.
Blaze one for the nation.
KCBR AM Monument, K253AH Colorado Springs.
It's crazy, you heard me?
The new Blazin' 98.5.
closed all of the cantinas. They closed all of the bars. So now to drink tequila, I don't have to go too far. I drink at home now. I drink alone now. Cinco de Mayo is only known as this Quarantina.
Welcome back to the Sports Guy Mike Show on KCBR 98.5, 95.7, AM 1040, and online at sportsguymike.com. Brandon Morrell, Chris Braden, Sports Guy Mike hanging out with you on a Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo. So Cinco de Mayo lands on Taco Tuesday.
Oh, my God, dude. You said that, dude. Doesn't that blow your mind?
Taco Tuesday and during a coronavirus.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Too weird for my liking. But anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with us, making us part of your day. So we were talking about, of course, the passing of Don Shula. And before we get into Odell and Marshawn, I wanted to ask you guys this, because Shula won an NFL record like we talked about. It's the most wins, even with playoffs. But the big thing is that undefeated season of 17-0 in 1972. Of course, the Patriots were that close to doing it themselves. Yeah. So I ask you, do you think anybody will ever have the perfect season? Brandon, I'm going to let you go first.
The league, the way it is now, the freak of nature athletes that are coming into it from college, the training those guys do. I mean, I see it from high school, putting through guys through weightlifting programs, off-season conditioning programs, cardio workouts. You mentioned similar. We do some spring camps before. I've done spring camps in March, April, right there for different high schools. I mean, the technology, the different things that are out there right now for kids to recover faster from injuries, the medical things we're doing right now. I think it's still going to be the most violent sport that most college athletes are going to play. It's a huge transition to go from college to the NFL, and when they get there, I just don't see. You'd have to have everything go right. There's so much talent on every side of the football, offense, defense, and special teams. And here's my thing. You're right. It takes a special team to even come close to that just a few years ago when the Patriots were, just that niche away. But honestly, I mean, again, I look at it as kind of like the home run record. We never thought, quote unquote, sure, with an asterisk, whatever you want to say, Barry Bonds break, home run record, Hank Aaron, all that. Okay, records are meant to be broken. I get it. But, man, you have to have one hell of a draft, one hell of a free agent offseason signing period to address many needs on your club. There is no such thing as a perfect roster in any sport out there. Teams are always looking to get better. Just like in baseball, you can never have enough pitching. In football, you got to have a great backup quarterback. And I think, having covered football games and covered, baseball camps in my time for different stations, I mean, you hear GMs talk about it all the time. There is no such thing as a perfect roster. And I'm going to say no. I don't think that record will ever be touched. That John for Shula, 1972 Dolphins, I think for Don Shula, that record is safe. I could be wrong.
CB?
Well, you know what? We're going to are we going to have an extra game next year too? We're going to have 17 games next year. Yeah. And I don't think it's fair. 17-0 is great, but we have more games now. The game's kind of evolved where, you don't have Mercury Morris just handing him the ball every 5 minutes and 2 yards in a cloud of dust in these short passes. Although I did really, I love Don Shula and I love those teams, and that was great football back then. The closest I've ever watched a team was the Denver Broncos in 1998, and I think they were 13-0, and they went in and lost to the Giants, a team they should have beaten. And then the next week they lost to the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. And I've heard all these guys talk about it wasn't the fact that the Giants or the Dolphins were better. In fact, the Broncos had a better team than both of them. Mm-hmm. They said it was exhausting. They said the fact of you just get a little bit tensed up, they would talk about, and like every little mistake just compounds on each other, and you think about it. And they also said after that first loss to the Giants, it was like a freeing sensation where they could just go out and play again. And so, in fact, they said that's kind of what propelled them through the playoffs. So do I think it can happen? I absolutely think it can happen because I think that there's some special teams, but like right now, the special team is the Kansas City Chiefs, but that's on offense. They're just very good on defense. Like their playoff defense was amazing. They played great defense in the playoffs, but that defense can't sustain a whole 16 or now 17 game schedule to win all those games. Patrick Mahomes isn't going to score 40 points in every game, although he could. So I think it could happen, but I'm with Brandon. I don't think so. I think it's just not really something that these guys care about all that much, to be honest with you.
And I think it's like when you start talking about, okay, I'm going to play with these 11 guys on the field. I can tell you, having been, like I said, high school football coach, that just because you start with 11 who you think are on that side of the ball and they're going to finish 4 quarters, at 12 minutes a quarter in high school, even though, like I said, it's just developmental right there, you're never going to end the football game with the same 11 players that you begin with. So you hope your reserves are just as good, if not better, and can step in. And when an assistant coach walks over to you and says, I need you now on 3rd down. It's a critical play. We're calling a timeout. So-and-so can't go. He's hurt right now. Just had a leg injury. He's over in the trainers under the tent over there. He got taken to the locker room for an injury. And then you got to say, hey, Mr. Reserve, get your butt in there and do me a job. And everything is on the line. That's just not – your reserves usually aren't as good as your starters. And that's not to downgrade anybody. It's the fact that having been on the sidelines and having been, in the trenches down there on the field.
Look, here's the thing, too, and Chris brought up a good point. It was like we're talking about eras, too. I know 1972, at least for a guy like me, it's really not that long ago. But it's kind of a generational era type thing. You got to think, okay, so that was 17 games to get to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So there's more games now. It's almost like when they complained about trying to compare the Babe Ruth era. How many they were, Babe Ruth had to do it in this many, this many games. So Roger Maris or Mickey Mantle in 1961 had to do it in that, or it was going to have an asterisk on it. Well, just like in the movie they talked about, Babe beat a guy's record that did it in less games, but Babe still got the record. So it was like, it just really depends. I personally don't think it's ever going to happen again. I just don't. I think that the Patriots were so close, and losing that Super Bowl to the Giants had to be soul crushing.
Yeah,
awesome
because
too.
Dude, it was great. I have never worn another NFL team hat in my entire life since I was 10 years old. I wore a Giants hat that day.
That was the day Eli got into the Hall of Fame too, actually.
Exactly. So for me, I just don't think it's going to happen just because, and Brandon, you brought up great points too. You have to have that coach, you have to have that team, and you have to have the guys that can be those secondary guys, and that's another thing. There's a lot more talent coming into the NFL. So these guys have deep benches. There's 4 and 5 running backs. 3 of your running backs go down. Holy crap. You still have a good running back, a culpable running back that can get the job done. So that's part of why I think maybe it could get done. It's possible. I just don't think we're ever going to see it again is where I'm at with it. But I like your guys' points to why. So speaking of great players, Odell Beckham Jr., Cleveland Browns wide receiver. He's predicting he's going to do big things, man, in 2020. He said, quote, right now, what I'm trying to do is hit the reset button, being able to just get everything fixed, shoulder, arms, back, everything aligned, functional, moving properly, so I can begin training to be ready for the season. I would honestly say this is probably going to be one of my best seasons. Bigger, stronger, faster. This is my time, end quote. Chris Braden, tell me why you think he is either full of you-know-what, or maybe we could see the best season of Odell Beckham Jr.'s career.
So I think the first question is does Baker Mayfield agree with him? Is Baker Mayfield going to get him the ball where he can do something with it? Like, that was the big issue last year.
Right.
But for me, I'm an OBJ guy, but he is the epitome of the grass is not always greener on the other side. He made a huge mistake in his NFL career. Right, exactly. They both made giant mistakes leaving the team that cultivated them. They could have been heroes in that city like forever. Now, that being said, do I root for him? Yes. Do I think he's going to have a good season? Yes. Here's the issue right now, though. If you have to pick between OBJ and Landry, like, who do you pick now? You know what I mean? Like, literally, these are both great wide receivers. He's got 1 and 1A out there right now, and he hasn't been able to get the ball to either one of them last year. So, do I think he can do it? Yes. You know what? I think he's going to have a good season. I think the Browns are going to come back a little bit, but yeah, I think he's going to have a good season. Is he going to be what we saw with the Giants in the past? I doubt that.
Brandon?
I think he'll have a good season. I think, guys can sit there again, man. I've been around a lot of locker rooms in my time and heard things and said things. You read things, and it's one thing to say it, another thing to get out there on the field and do it. And I think there's another thing where you got so much transition. I mean, this franchise has been in turmoil for the last 15 years, 8-9 different head coaches, different guys in the front office when it comes to GMs. John Dorsey, who I had huge respect for when it came to, managing front offices for many, many years, in the NFL. I just think right now, here's a guy that's got a lot of talent, but man, he was put in a bad situation and on a really bad Cleveland team. They're getting better. I get that. The incident with the Hellman throwing, a couple last year there too as well. And, just guys suspended and just bad things happening to a bad Cleveland Browns team. And I know they're so close right there on the cusp, but look, this all starts with the front office, and this starts with Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski's coming in from the Minnesota Vikings. He's a great offensive mind. And I think Chris is right. How do you get him the football? You're not going to throw on every down. You've got a pretty decent running game there in Cleveland at the same time. But, if you're asking me better receiver, who's going to have better, and if I were to take one in fantasy football, Jarvis Landry last year. Jarvis Landry had some beautiful games for Cleveland to put up some great numbers in fantasy football. I like the guy. I root for the guy. I just think, man, the best years were in New York, getting drafted, like I said, many big game catches. And do you hope for the guy? Do you root for the guy? Yes, but it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to go out and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Chris, you say which would you rather have? Just last year alone. So Odell played 16 games, targeted 133 times, 1035, 4 touchdowns. Yeah. Jarvis Landry played 16 games, 138 targets, 1174, 6 touchdowns, averaged 14.1 yards. I'm taking Jarvis Landry every day and twice on Sunday. Look, these are 2 guys from LSU. They're both very, very impressive wide receivers. When you look at this Cleveland Browns team on paper, the first thing that comes to my mind is, how the hell do they not win? How are they not winning? It goes back to Dallas 6, 7, 8 years ago when everyone's like, man, this Cowboys team, they're awesome on paper. But it just didn't transpire onto the field. I don't know if there's just a dark cloud, in Cleveland over this facility that just keeps them from being the team that you look at paper and you look at numbers and, what these guys have accomplished and what they're able to do during the regular season. Wins just don't factor in. And I don't know how. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's the front office, or quite frankly, if it's just super bad freaking luck.
I don't think it has anything to do with luck.
I mean,
I think you're right. It's
how do you have these 2 wide receivers, and at no point, and Baker Mayfield said on ESPN that he had a big old slice of humble pie, that he's going to be a better guy, he's going to be a better teammate, and he's going to be a better quarterback. What I saw last year was a child. Now, if he becomes a man and he tries to lead men, maybe things will get a little bit better. Chris?
You know what? I didn't see a child. I'm going to see.
Your mic, dude.
Go to Brandon.
There you go.
Again, I'm all about this, Mike. I think when you look at success breeding success, and I think you have to sit there and say, this is an organization, we kind of talked about it right there, that's been through so many changes, has never had anything consistent. And the culture in that locker room has never felt success. A lot of young players, a lot of potentially drafted talent that could have been impact players, Pro Bowl type guys on a very talented roster, for these guys. And to not have one head coach, be there for a consecutive 5, 6, 7 years, developing that culture, buy into a system, put an offensive and defensive coaching staff around you that can be successful. And look, I'm going to tell you this, as much as having been a high school coach, as much as the head coach means a lot to the team. The position coaches mean just as much to those guys. You know, if you're a linebacker, you go to your linebackers coach and you want that relationship. If you're a defensive lineman, you know, interior, exterior, if you're an outside backer, if you're a defensive back, a safety, you go to your position coaches and you have meetings on and off the field. You go to dinner with them. You know, sometimes you go over to their house and you study the playbook. And I think that's where there hasn't been that type of thing. You hear it from other teams in the NFL. You watch ESPN 30 for 30 documentaries on stuff like that or Hard Knocks.
Right.
The Browns don't have that. Culture in the locker room has to change. And you're probably right. That dark cloud's hanging over it. And the situation with Myles Garrett is still big. It's not over yet. And until he gets back and they have a team meeting, apologize to the team, and figure out a way to fix that culture in the locker room, you know, you could hire yourself, Mike, me, or Chris to head coach that team with a lot of talent. But until they want to do it, they got to go out and do it, Mike.
Right. You know, and that's the thing. You got to be, I mean, how deflating does that have to be in, you know what I mean? It's like you have nothing to go on. Now, granted, they came in, Baker gave them a winning season, something they hadn't seen in a long time. And I thought, honestly, that it would build on that. I thought we would see kind of a resurgence of them because of that season. And then they came back and Baker had a complete falling off. Throwing, decision-making, holding on to the ball way too long, you know, having crappy look, I know this has nothing to do with the on-field, but when you have crappy press conferences and you can't speak intelligently and be a grown-up in your press conference, I really don't want to hear too much from you. I want you to get your ass back on the field and do what you're supposed to do. Stop blaming guys like Rex Ryan and other people for your shortcomings and own them yourself. Chris? Your mic still, dude. There you go. Now we hear you.
Dude, this mic doesn't like what I'm saying because I've literally not touched anything. No, what I'm trying to say is I think you guys are a little bit harsh on Baker Mayfield. I know exactly where you're going with it.
Right.
But when I look at guys like that, I go back to myself when I was that age. And there was a lot of learning to do.
Yeah, but were you making millions?
It doesn't matter. Like, he's still a kid. He's still a kid. It is his job. But did you always make the right decisions when you were 23, 24, 25?
Of course not. But I also wasn't handed a football team and being told
that's beside the point. That does not, your job does not determine your character / education / all that. We all grow.
But it's not a regular job.
And it is a regular job to him. It's totally a regular job.
He better stop thinking like that, or they're going to keep losing and keep losing.
Well, and he's always going to lose because it's Cleveland. Cleveland has a losing culture. It'll be like that forever. Same thing with the Cleveland or the Cincinnati Bengals, losing culture. These teams that have a losing culture don't develop players. They just don't do it. That's why I feel bad for Joe Burrow. That was what was terrifying me here in Denver. They are lose, and then you get into that mindset of losing, and now all of a sudden you have a freaking losing culture, and that's what Cleveland is. And until they change that ownership and they have weird Stuckies things going on in the background and all that weird crap that goes on, it'll always be like that. And let's not kid ourselves. We've seen this over and over and over again. It doesn't matter the franchise. It could be the Jags. It could be anyone. That once they have that losing culture, it's hard to get out. Look at the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The roster's like one of the best. They don't know how to win in the playoffs anymore. Come on, man.
Let me say this too. Like I think you know, with Stefanski coming in, I mentioned kind of as a new head coach, offensive coordinator, you know, having that time in Minnesota, having worked with Kirk Cousins, a talented group of receivers, and Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. Here's a guy that has to come in immediately on the first day and say, guys, study your ass off on the playbook. Work on and off the field, man, to get it done. Talk to your position coaches. We don't have the OTAs. I get that. But, man, from training camp, from day one, you work your ass off to get better and to put in the work in the offseason, which unfortunately can't do right now. But they can still log onto their computer. They can be studying right now, from the playbook. And I think this is a situation to where, there were times last year Baker hung onto the football too long in the pocket. He needed to get rid of it with Jarvis and the weapons with OBJ. And here's the thing, man, you got Nick Chubb. God, man, use Nick Chubb. holy crap, we watched him at Georgia have a great career, and I think it's just one of those things is, again, so much talent on that roster. You've got to do something with it. Chris is right, and that's kind of a point I made. Until you fix that culture, it's hard to develop players.
Right. All right, y'all, keep it locked. We're going to take a quick break, pay some bills, get back to it right here on the Sports Guy Mike Show, KCBR 98.5, 95.7, and AM 1040, and check us out online at sportsguymike.com. Keep it locked, y'all.
Hey, Bill, sorry to hear about your car accident. How are you doing?
Not good, Mary. My neck is killing me.
Have you found an attorney for your claim yet?
I went to one of those guys that you see on TV all the time, and they said my claim was too small.
You need to call McDowell Law Firm. No claim is too big or too small. They specialize in criminal defense, DUI defense, and, of course, personal injury.
I need that number.
You can call them at 719-227-0022. That's McDowell Law Firm at 719-227-0022. Or online at McDowellFirm.com.
Thanks, Mary. I'm going to call him right now.
When you bring your taxes to Liberty Tax, we'll handle it. No matter what you throw at us, no matter what you need, no matter what. And we're so confident we'll do a great job. You'll want to bring us your friends, your family, your loved ones, your neighbors, your co-workers. You may even want to bring us everyone in the world. But please don't. We're not staffed for that. Liberty Tax. Bring it. We'll have.
Due to recent events with COVID-19, Liberty Tax now can do your tax return remotely. Give them a call at 866-871-1040 or visit them online at libertytax.com. Type in your zip code to find your nearest Liberty Tax office today. That's 866-871-1040. Liberty Tax, where you do life, they do tax.
Having car problems? Maintenance coming up on your vehicle? Don't gamble your money away at other mechanic shops. Come to All Service Auto. At All Service Auto, you get the quality workmanship and parts that you demand. Professionals at All Service Auto strive to make your experience the best you've ever had, from beginning to end. Everything from engine replacements to tire rotations. All Service Auto can get your vehicle back on the road and driving like you want it. No job is too big or too small. All Service Auto works on all makes and models, making them your one-stop mechanic shop. With affordable prices and customer service that is leaps and bounds above the rest, make your first choice All Service Auto, located at 3455 Shelton Loop, right near the intersection of Platt and Shelton. Call to set up your next appointment at 719-573-0292. Taking care of vehicles and the people who drive them. All Service Auto. Call now, 719-573-0292. All Service Auto.
Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is a licensed and accredited OBH treatment facility providing people services in the criminal justice system for over 6 years. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is located on 1826 East Platt, on the corner of Platt and Union, where the counselors are not only licensed and accredited, but also have life experience. They offer court-ordered DUI classes and any mandated court-ordered treatment. Use the promo code RADIO and pay only $20 for your initial intake fee for level 2. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling, where we help you feel better so you can get better and live a successful life.
Blaze one for the nation.
KCBR AM Monument, K253AH Colorado Springs.
It's crazy, you heard me?
The new Blazin' 98.5.
It's Cinco de Mayo, nacho, taco, tostadas, enchiladas, margaritas, and green beer. Wait, that's St. Patrick's Day. Cinco de Mayo, all from the comfort of your own home. It's social distancing and fun for the whole family. Good luck with that. Yet another excuse to get drunk during the pandemic. Remember to get limes when you go to the store. Don't forget to wear your mask. Cinco de Mayo.
Welcome back to the Sports Guy Mike Show on the Cinco de Mayo. Sports Guy Mike, Brandon Morrell, Chris Braden, hanging out with you on a Tuesday. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, making us a part of your day. We appreciate it as always. So we're talking about Odell, Cleveland Browns. Look, I'm going to say this on one last note. It's unfortunate. As a Steeler fan, guys, I could give a rat's you-know-what. As a football fan, it gets a little, you get a little agitated almost when you just see teams that can't break through, that barrier. They just can't break through it. Cincinnati's one of them. Cleveland, of course, two of them are in my division in the AFC North. But there's so many teams. Miami, for the longest time, they're having a hard time breaking through. Things are about to change over there with Tua Tagovailoa. So it gets frustrating, and I think it's never good for football when there's too many teams struggling for years and years and years. You want to see the changing of the guard. Tom Brady leaving New England was the best thing for football.
Agreed.
Period. I don't care what anybody. That's my opinion.
Agreed.
Tom Brady leaving New England was the best thing for football because now you almost feel like it's a reset button, kind of like what Odell Beckham said. Everybody gets a fair shake now. Well, more teams get a better shake now, if you will. And that division is completely wide open. So it's interesting to see, what's going to happen with this upcoming season. Marshawn Lynch he is a free agent, as everybody knows, and he says that his agent has been in discussion with the Seahawks about a potential return to Seattle. He told Scott Van Pelt, quote, "Well, it's almost on that expect the unexpected, but just as far as right now, what I do now is and that's what it says, I'm gonna keep it solid. My agent, Doug Hendrickson is his agent, has been in talk with Seattle. So like I said, we'll see what happens. If it works out, I get back up there and do what I do." Look, this is the thing for me where at what point is it about money or is it about playing ball? For Marshawn Lynch, what do you guys think? Is it about the money or is it about playing ball? Because quite frankly, from what I understand, the brother's got other companies going down and he's got money. So I don't know personally if that's it. What do you guys think, Chris? Dude, you better beat that mic to death for treating you bad.
I haven't touched
there
anything. Like literally not touched anything. For me, Marshawn Lynch, we talked about culture. I mean, the Seahawks, Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, man. But I think Marshawn Lynch, he fits there. He does. The fans love him. Giving him the ball in short yardage situations or on the goal line at this state in his age, I think he would love that. I think that he is there to play. And I love Marshawn Lynch, and I don't think it's about the money because he proved that. He left.
Sure.
He was tired. Remember the post with the shoes, his retirement post? That was epic. Oh, yeah. No, I love Marshawn Lynch. I hope he does come back. And I think the fact that the Seahawks want him and he's good for that running back room, that bodes well. And like I said, that's a winning culture. They can get guys like Marshawn Lynch wanting to play for them. Right. And he'll probably take less money.
Yep. Brandon?
It's kind of one of those things that you go to, the trade deadline in MLB and you kind of look at it. You're going to add a piece at the trade deadline. You don't need much. You've got a pretty good roster like the Washington Nationals, but you want to go out and get, a guy that can fit your system, maybe a backup second baseman, or maybe a guy plug a hole, maybe get a backup catcher, somebody to fit that pitching staff or something like that. They're adding a piece. I mean, Pete Carroll's one of the best coaches in the NFL, no doubt about it. They've got a loaded roster. We mentioned Rashad Penny, Chris Carson, and they're going to run the football. Talented wide receiver group. And I think this is where they win the battle up front. Russell's probably one of the top 5 quarterbacks, if not in the top 3 in the NFL. So I think this is one of those things, again, no, it's not about money. He's got money with all the different companies. Here's a guy, again, he's not tired of getting beat up on right now. And as Chris said, this is a goal line back. This is a game-changing back on, third down and goal where you can just hand him the rock. He can, run a zone play or something like that, find his way in the end zone, scratch across that line, get the tip of the football over it. And Pete knows how to use this guy. We're talked about the Browns. Stefanski coming in and previous head coaches didn't understand how to use this, NFL talent, potential NFL talent on the Browns roster. The culture is terrible. In Seattle, it is a winning culture. Team that's been to the Super Bowl, team that has won a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. And I think this is where he's a great leader on and off the field. And Marshawn coming in, no, he's not tired yet. I think this is a way he knows he's not going to be an every down back, but to put him in situations where he can succeed and still get in beast mode, this guy's a hell of a football player. I remember at Christmas time, one of my best buddies is a Seahawks fan who lives in Canada. We were on vacation this past year in San Antonio. He goes, "Hey, man, we got beast mode back." I went, "Yeah, you might be able to ride that to another championship." And I think I love the way the guy played. I've followed him since college. I mean, this guy is, one of the, best running backs I've ever seen, carry a football. Again, no, I think it's not about money. This is about I still want to play and I want to carry the rock.
He's 34 years old.
Yeah.
3 games, regular season finale, plus the wild card and divisional rounds.
Yeah.
Carried the ball 30 times, 67 yards, scored 4 touchdowns. And he hadn't played in 14 months prior to that.
Yeah.
This is a guy that it doesn't leave your body. And I know 34 is not very old. It's old in running back years. We all can agree on that. But when you put a guy like this, and Christian made a great point with the culture, he fits in Seattle. He was the Seattle Seahawks for quite some time. And I think getting him back, I think, Brandon, you make a good point with the just having that piece, making, being in the locker room, being that veteran presence. These guys are going to thrive just on having Marshawn around. The other running backs are going to learn so much. Other offensive players, period, are going to learn so much just from him being around. We saw him for those couple years during their run where, hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Very standoffish. He is the complete opposite with his teammates. The complete opposite. He is there for them. He's always lending an ear. He's always teaching guys stuff. People talk very highly about him that have played with him. He is the complete opposite of that. I think it would be huge for Seattle to somehow get him back into that locker room. And mind you, it's the guy that started, in 2007 with Buffalo. And, the guy's got 10,000 yards career, not too shabby. He's got 85 touchdowns. This is a guy that is going to be remembered for, his running back prowess, how well of a downhill runner he was. He would run guys over. This is a guy that Seattle definitely needs to make sure that they get back in the fold for sure.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like you said, you didn't like it when the Browns and the Bengals suck, which I don't mind. Like, being a Raider hater right now, it hasn't been fun. Even when the Broncos suck, they beat the Raiders. I mean, so I'm totally cool with it. But the fact that he would come back, I enjoy watching Marshawn Lynch. I just do.
Right.
And that's for me. That's personal. On a side note, I just noticed Brandon's wearing an Astros hat.
Yeah, he's from Houston. He's in Houston.
And so, he forced me to go put my Dodger hat on.
I saw you.
All of a sudden,
what are you, 5?
I instantly got pissed off and went over and put my Dodger hat on.
Now, just to make it.
Man, no, we won't go there today when it comes to that discussion. But I will say this, hey, I'm
long one.
I'm so ready for some type of season to come back, man. I just, we just got the word the other day. Justin Verlander is now healthy from the groin surgery, and this roster's loaded. We're going to lose a lot this offseason. But I know between these 3 caps right here, these 3 teams are going to be in contention at whatever the end of the season. If we get 80, 90 games or play at neutral sites for playoffs, this is going to be 3 jam-packed rosters with 3 great managers. And we were talking about Don Shula. I wanted to kind of bring up a little point. Here's the thing. He was going to do it on a 1-year deal. Dusty Baker is a damn good manager. And, man, I want to see him get this shot. And kind of like Andy Reid in Kansas City, I want to see him, finally get that championship and get that ring that is well overdue. And Andy got it. And Dusty, I know this roster's about to fall apart and break up. But, man, these 3 caps are going to be in contention for if we have a season.
Yeah, absolutely. No, actually, we are gonna have a baseball show here coming up where we're gonna talk some baseball because having Brandon down there in Houston, we're gonna have to beat him up a little bit.
That's cool.
So
but it's funny he's in the middle because
right? He's got me on this end, you on the other end, and he's in the middle.
So Brandon, I want to ask you this. My favorite thing about the Astros, and it's one thing and one thing only because there's not a lot to like. It's Kate Upton. If Justin Verlander leaves, Kate Upton leaves Houston. How can you guys survive?
I mean, one favorite thing. I'll never forget where I was that summer of 17. He comes over in a trade. Keuchel makes the call. They do what they have to do, and it was falling apart. It was falling apart. I get it, but here's a guy. Despite everything else that's gone on, the cheating, whatever, this guy came in and did his job as a pro. And hey, man, you look at all the video you want to and cheat and whatever, but a 36 years old son of a gun still pitching up to his best potential and coming off a Cy Young 21-6 season with a 2.58 ERA. So I'm not going to, baseball wise, we can talk it all day long. The pitching is going to be their problem. Can Lance McCullers come back and even keep this team in contention coming off Tommy John? But I will say this, Greinke, Verlander have to be at their best. Verlander, you know what you're getting, man, I tell you, but the back end of that rotation, who knows? But I mean, again, the roster is just too damn good. And here's the thing, they have to go out and prove that what they did in 17 was no fluke. They have to go out and win this for Dusty, because honestly, he's got 1-2 years left in there. People say, well, they're going to bring AJ back. No, they're not. They're not bringing Luno, AJ back due to all the controversy and that kind of crap. But the team didn't need to cheat. But, you know, the bottom line is the guys that aren't there anymore, they're gone.
Right.
The team had enough talent to win.
Part.
Okay.
They didn't have to cheat.
I'm gonna leap in and I'm gonna squash all this baseball talk for our baseball show. Don't ruin
Clayton
it.
Kershaw needs vindicated.
No, he doesn't.
My bad, Mike. My bad.
No, he doesn't. All right. Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz said he is not concerned by the team's decision to draft Jalen Hurts in the second round and is, quote, okay sharing snaps with him if it's in the best interest of the team. So the quote is, I came to Philly ever since being drafted, and all I've ever wanted to do is win and stand up there and hold that Lombardi trophy. Whatever that takes and whatever that looks like, I'm on board, is what Wentz said. He said, I'm a competitor. I want to be out there. I want to have the ball in my hands. We all do. But at the same time, whatever is going to help us win, I'm confident the coaches and everyone is going to put us in the best situation, end quote. Now, I find this comical that the guy that was supposed to be the guy and, got hurt, Nick Foles comes in, wins the Super Bowl for you guys. You come back the next year, Nick is gone. You get hurt. You can't get it done. Now they're bringing in Jalen Hurts. Is Jalen Hurts going to be at this early stage? Are the Philadelphia Eagles looking at it as twofold? Are they going, well, Carson can't stay healthy, but at least we have Jalen? Or, we don't know how long we're going to get Carson because he's always hurt. Jalen might be the guy that will precede him. Is it twofold, or is it just, hey, we just need somebody in case Carson gets hurt? Brandon?
Let me tell you this. I've been following Jalen since the high school days in Channelview down here in Texas. And I coached against this guy, played with him on the football field, watched this guy go through, just like we said, beast mode with Marshawn, but beast mode in workouts. And, what he did at the combine was really good, too, at the same time. Nobody is going to outwork Jalen Hurts in a football game. And we saw the impact on the collegiate level at Bama and Oklahoma. And here's a guy that's going to push, push Carson Wentz to the limit. To take that starter role. Jalen is a competitor. He's won on every level he's been at, and impact that he made here in the state of Texas for many years. That was a perfect landing spot in Philly with Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson is a great offensive coach. They've got a great roster. They're going to be right there with Dallas in the NFC East, and right there, packing it down with the New York Giants too at the same time. That division is so unpredictable every year for the NFC East at the same time. So I'm with you. Look, Carson can talk a big game, man. Nick Foles did what he did years ago. But here's another guy, Mike, and we've talked about a lot of guys these last few days that can't stay healthy and can't stay on the football field and do what's best for their teams, when it comes to winning situations. Okay, I want the ball in my hands, then stay healthy. I know sometimes it's out of your control, but the recovery process is so much faster now. The medical, things that people look at, the x-rays and all the different medical attention that these players get now. I understand one of the injuries was an ACL. I get that. But Doug Peterson, again, is going to put guys in situations to win. And Jalen Hurts can sit there, and if he outworks him in training camp and takes the starter job, then the bottom line is I like the kid. The kid is a fantastic football player, and nobody's going to outwork Jalen Hurts but Jalen Hurts. And, the bottom line is he can put him in wildcat situations. You can use this guy in jet sweeps. You can line him up as a tailback. You can do a number of things in the offense, goal line situations. But I'm going to say this, Carson hasn't gotten it done for a full season.
Right.
So what do you have as a backup, as a guy that's going to come in and make an impact on a team right away? I'm not going to say Super Bowl impact, but here's a guy that knows how to win, and he'll win in the NFL.
Chris?
You know what? I'm with Brandon on this. It's unfortunate Carson's been injured. But that being said, I think Jalen Hurts can actually beat him out. Maybe not this year, but I think next year. He's proven it. He saved Alabama's season a couple of years ago when Tua gets hurt. He went in there and helped them win. And the fact that this kid just works his butt off, I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson, but he's way stronger than Lamar Jackson. I mean, the fact of the matter is this is a winning kid. He knows how to play football. He needs to work a little bit on his accuracy for the NFL, but I don't think that's an issue. This guy will figure it out. And I think that Peterson knows this is going to happen. Hurts is the guy, not this year, but I think whether Carson stays healthy or not, even if he is healthy, I think Jalen Hurts was the steal of the draft, and he will be the starting quarterback for the Eagles in 2021.
I mean, if you're Bill Belichick right now, Mike, I mean, I'm going to throw a question at you. Would you pick up the phone and see what it would take to get Carson Wentz in a trade?
Yep.
To fit the Patriots offense? Because, again, I'm not confident with Stidham. He hasn't done it on the pro level. They're sitting back there making all that good quarterback money when it comes to a reserve and being on the sidelines, learning, from Tom Brady and the X's and O's and looking at the playbook. New England needs that impact quarterback. Jacksonville needs an impact quarterback. I'm not so certain about the situation in Chicago. Is Nick Foles going to stay healthy right there? Carson Wentz could be a guy, as I kind of figured with the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. They drafted Jordan Love. It pissed off Aaron Rodgers a lot. It did. People can say what they want to say, but it did. But, they know Jordan Love is the future right there. They're just going to groom him to hope he's the future there for Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. But I think Carson Wentz is an attractive trade piece for a few teams out there looking for a veteran quarterback. And sometimes a change of scenery, Mike, does guys good.
It does. And we've talked about that. Chris knows this on this very program about how players drastically change when their scenery changes. Look, this is a guy that they got in 2016. He has never been under 3,000 yards, which I know is so low for quarterbacks in the NFL. But this is a kid that has thrown 16 touchdowns, 33 touchdowns, 21 touchdowns, and 27 touchdowns. He threw 21 touchdowns in 11 games the year that he was hurt in 2018. This is a guy that I have no idea why Bill Belichick is not knocking on the door to get him over to New England after what happened. I wanted Pittsburgh to pick up Jalen Hurts. I wanted him to be the backup and the heir apparent. Look, I'm not downgrading Mason Rudolph. I think he's a great guy. I thought it was a great pick. But then I saw him play. And I don't know if it's going to translate to him being the best fit to be Ben's heir apparent. Jalen Hurts, I think that this pick was twofold. Absolutely. I think that they were thinking, look, he can't stay healthy. We need a viable backup. I absolutely think that that's what it was for. But the twofold is, how long are we really going to have this kid if he can't stay healthy? What if this kid, maybe we draft this kid and he's not just a backup, but he's going to compete and he just might beat out Carson. I don't think for a second that they were just thinking he's going to be Carson's backup. I honestly think they want him to come in and compete. I know they haven't said it. It's either a matter of time or they're just going to keep their mouth shut and they're going to let it play out.
He would make a fantastic wideout too. I mean, here's a wideout / running back in a quarterback's body. And like I said, you can do so much for him. He is a lot stronger than Lamar Jackson. He is tough to bring down. I remember coaching defense with him when I was down here coaching high school football. This guy is a load on any yard line. And when he execute plays and when he gets out in the open, like I said, yards after catch or just finding guys in stride, receivers running perfect routes and slants and goes and stuff like that. Beautiful ball. Chris is right. He's got to work a little bit on accuracy and stuff like that. Ball coming out of his hand. He has a tendency sometimes to hold on to the ball a little bit too much in the pocket too as well. But you've learned under some great head coaches in Nick Saban, Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. And I think this is a guy that's just going to take it to the next level. And I wouldn't be surprised if he beats out Carson. And but by August, we're talking about Carson in a different uniform.
I wouldn't either.
Mike, we've seen this once before, and it was Cordell Stewart with Steelers, and the NFL wasn't ready for it then. And I think Jalen Hurts and Cordell Stewart, if you look at them, Jalen Hurts is a little bit stronger, but very, very similar guys.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out with us and making us a part of your day. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Be safe. Celebrate safely. Y'all don't drink and drive. Stay in your house and just get tore up there. Today's also National Astronaut Day, as well as National Cartoonist Day. I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's your day, Mike.
Cartoonist Day. Yeah, I'm a cartoon in real life, but I can't draw cartoons. I mean, come on now.
You didn't draw the Sports Guy Mike logo?
No, I wish I wish I had. A very good friend of mine in Vegas made that for me. It was a guy that my wife went to high school with. So,
Looks good.
All right, guys. Brandon, anything you want to say to nice people before we get out of here?
Hey, man, like I said, just excited about, baseball, some type of baseball being back on TV. The KBO started last night at midnight, and it gives us, I tell you, it gives us something to watch. There are some good athletes over there. I'm so happy the ESPN picked it up, for I think Tuesday through Friday, some afternoon games on Saturday, ESPN2. So be on the lookout for that, man. Watch something because, honestly, MLB is coming back. It's coming back, in stride. Hopefully by July 4th, we're talking MLB. We're talking these three teams right here on our hats. And just having 80, 90 games to play for the regular season. And honestly, man, just to enjoy sports and get back to a sense of normalcy again is what America's waiting for.
CB?
I'm with Brandon. Go KBO. Is there a team nicknamed the Sushi? Because if so, I'm rooting for that team. But go out there, be awesome. And hey, Mike, thanks for having me on, buddy. Nice to meet you, Brandon. We've been around forever together. Yeah.
Right?
Good to meet you, brother.
Hey, we're gonna talk about that Korean baseball tomorrow. We're gonna talk baseball.
We gotta
tomorrow.
pick teams. We gotta pick teams.
We're gonna have a baseball show probably tomorrow, if not Thursday. So stick around for that. Y'all come back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, right here on the Sports Guy Mike Show. And as I say around here all the time, don't sweat small stuff. We're out here. See ya.
Blaze one for the nation.
KCBR AM Monument, K253AH Colorado Springs.
It's crazy, you heard me?
The new Blazing 98.5.